at work right now. Haven't had a customer in about an hour, and I saw that you were live. I just scrolled through like 8 of your videos yesterday because the first one that showed up on my For You page yesterday was the the one where you had the dude apologize to the trees for the oxygen he was wasting, and I was like, "Oh, that's fucking hilarious." I'm just gonna scroll and try and find this guy roasting some dumbasses real quick.
I've got some good. That very same guy, I told him I can hear both of your brain cells playing ping pong inside your head. Bed Bath and Beyond. If you look at their logo, have you ever noticed that the D sticks way out? Oh no, we're getting shut down.
Yeah, you gotta calm down with all that.
But I don't know how else to say it.
You gotta.
But their logo,
the text is not aligned.
the letter D, the D bulge sticks. No, I don't know how to say it any other way.
Okay, stop. Yeah, no, we know what you're saying.
But if you look at it, the letter D, it's erected sideways quite far.
You gotta pick different words. You gotta like write down your thought real quick before you put it out.
You ever watch Arrested Development?
Yeah.
When Tobias, he keeps saying things like, "Oh, I just blew myself," and Michael tells him, "Carry around a recorder, listen to what you say, and then understand that there are better ways to say it." That's probably my favorite TV show of all time. It's the funniest.
Nah, okay. That means you're not watching enough regular show. Okay.
What is the dumbest conspiracy that you have heard? Like absolute takes the cake, cherry on top, stupidest fucking conspiracy you've ever heard.
I was gonna say I'm just gonna be boring and say flat Earth, but actually concave Earth is so much dumber than flat Earth.
I don't know. There's this guy named Ron, and
Ron?
He thinks that they're taking aborted babies and putting them in Coke.
I beg your fucking pardon?
Yeah.
I beg your finest pardon.
That's
like, excuse me, my good bitch, but what seems to be the fuck? What did you just say?
There's cherry Coke, vanilla Coke, Coke Lime, and fetus Coke.
Yeah. If you go to one of the Coke machines at Burger King, I get it all the time. It's delicious. What do you mean?
Yeah.
No,
you have to chew it.
Like they're taking aborted babies and putting them in Coke and then just canning them up and like selling it. And it's like, dude, what? He won't. I don't know. He hasn't clarified what exactly that means. Keep in mind, this same guy is, I don't know, doing something. He said he's trying to become bulletproof. I don't know how he's planning to do that, but he said he's doing something that will get him there. And it's like, I don't know, man. Maybe I should trust him.
Hey, let's go do a test run real quick. Anyway, I think the dumbest one that I've heard, I used to work at McDonald's a few years back, right? And one of my coworkers, she's very easily manipulable. And she walks up to me, she was like, I don't really think I agree with flat earthers, but some of them bring up some really good points. I was like, no, they don't. You're already off to a bad start, but let's hear what you got. And the first thing that she led with was this conspiracy that, oh, well, you can only get so far in Antarctica before the U.S. government kicks you out or kills you. And I'm like, no. You can only get so far in Antarctica because if you go farther, you fucking freeze to death.
You fucking die. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And also, to think that the U.S. government has any jurisdiction in fucking Antarctica, it's a completely different continent. How the fuck do you think that MI6 or whoever you believe is out there just guarding Antarctica? Like, what... Well, either you watch too much Game of Thrones to believe that and you think they're just protecting us from fucking White Walkers, or you genuinely have not had a, like, personal thought or opinion in all of your 57 years of living.
It's the Jew penguins, dude. They'll get you.
The fucking Jew penguins.
I used to have a picture of I went to like the Bing AI photo generator and I generated a picture of a penguin army. And I was like, yeah, look, man, this is a photo of them. They're lining up, they're marching.
could
This is
defeat
what
the
US
Australian
government
army,
doesn't want you to
probably.
see in Antarctica.
Dude, they could definitely beat the French. No
Oh,
doubt.
yeah.
The French beat the French in every single war they've ever been in.
It'd be a tragedy though, because
France
the
down.
French would try to surrender, but the whiteness of the environment would obscure their flag, and the penguins would just massacre them endlessly.
Or just the fact that I don't think a penguin would have the intelligence to recognize what a fucking white flag means. And they just be like, why the fuck is this weird featherless bird staring at us, waving some stick around?
Well, you got to remember, they're robo-penguins, so they're actually controlled by people.
Oh, robo-penguin. Okay, yeah, no, that makes more sense, right? Because birds aren't real,
people.
right?
Yeah, because they're actually reptilians controlling the robo-penguins. It's a very complicated system, okay? If you do your own research, you'll get it.
Oh, okay, so
Wait.
Zuckerberg is expanding his enterprise now to penguins.
So when they said birds are dinosaurs, what they meant was the reptile people are controlling the birds.
Yes. You know, you're
Bitch, that
getting
makes
it.
perfect sense.
Yeah,
Have
now
you ever
you're
seen
understanding.
Have you ever seen like an emperor penguin's skeleton before?
Isn't it like all neck?
They do have very long necks, but what's really weird is they don't walk with their legs straight. They're doing like a squat walk. Their femurs are horizontal, basically. It's really weird.
Oh.
Wall
So
sit
you're
world
telling
champions.
me that if we start training them to do like squats and stuff with the bar and stuff, they'll get super strong, and we can actually militarize them.
Yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of Australia not being good at anything, did you see the Australian breakdancer at the Olympics?
Yes,
Oh
I
my
was
God,
just showing that to my mom and my
She's
dad.
That was
like
actually
the can
that
opener.
was the exact video before this live showed up. So I'm very glad you mentioned that.
Oh my gosh!
Quite
It was
literally the
wonderful.
exact fucking video that showed up before this live showed up on my For You page was this pathetic attempt at breakdancing where the dude is just flopping around like an epileptic fish
Yeah,
on the
it's-
fucking stage.
Doing the,
Hugh said we don't claim Ray Gun. That's the name of the breakdancer.
that's their name, Ray Gun.
Yeah, it's like Rachel Gunn or something like that. I don't actually know.
Rachel Gunn, Ray Gun. That actually would be an awesome nickname if that was your name, Ray Gun. But yeah, doing the can opener on the ground, that was just that sent me. But apparently it's called breaking, and they hate when you call it breakdancing. I don't know. This is the first year that's in the Olympics. Pretty sure.
that was
Tokyo.
the debut.
Tokyo skateboarding debuted in Tokyo. So
The only thing that she broke was Australia's confidence in her ability to do literally fucking anything.
Apparently, she's a national champion, and it's like if that's the case, she's the best they got to offer.
One of one.
Breakdancer look like there.
One of one. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
she's a national champ, and there's only 4 people, so it's not a big competition. They do it in her mom's backyard.
4 people and a camel spider.
Have you guys been following the one-sided medal beef with Australia? Because that's been so funny too.
I have. I mean, not following it, but I've been seeing it pop up, and I think it's really funny because I only see Australians making videos about it.
No kidding. It all started with this woman, and I don't know if it was this person who does she's just a content creator, or if it was one of the Australian swimmers, because it kind of centered around that, or if it was, or if it was on the news or something. I don't know. But now I can't tell if they're being serious. I think they're trying to be funny about it to save face, because it started with halfway through the Olympics. They said, well, the U.S. says they're on top, but the medal count has never been about total medals. It's always been about gold. And at that point, they had one more than us, because they had a really good female swimmer or something like that. And then it's track and field hasn't even started yet, and we're just going to absolutely dominate everything in that. And then they switched to, well, it's all about per capita medals. It's no, it's not that. And you wouldn't be on top if it was either. So
You know it was bad though when there was even Australians in the comments and they're like, "Please stop talking." Like you're just making us all look bad. It's like I promise this is just her. This is not all of us. Turn that break dancer.
They're kind of goofy because they're upside down and all the blood goes to their head and they can't think clearly. It's why they have that speech disorder too. I mean, they try to speak English, but it just comes out like a garbled mess. Oh well.
I don't know. I think Australians have some of the best slang. Like when I hear them talk, sometimes I'm just like, dude, I don't even know what that means, but like it sounded nice. It's like it just rolled off the tongue really good. I don't know. Like, crikey, mate. It's like, dude, what the fuck? What? When someone busts out one of those, you just know it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, they can't say portfolio.
I think probably the highest compliment that you can get from an Australian is being called a cunt, because the way that they say it is just chef's kiss. It's perfection.
Yeah, it's just it literally isn't offensive in any way. It's basically like saying dude down there. It's very different, very weird. Kind of like cigarettes in the UK, but we're not going to say that.
But asking about Vegemite.
Yes,
I can explain this.
Can you say portfolio first?
Portfolio.
All right.
Portfolio.
Oh,
I can't
impressive.
do it. It sounds normal to me. Portfolio.
You guys you sprinkle in the letter R in places it doesn't belong. It's cute.
No,
There's no R. There's actually no R.
Can you say
like when
no?
I say the word no, you guys think I'm saying nor?
It's NOWR. Nair.
Nor.
Nair. No, it's just no. No.
No.
Oh no.
No. Yeah. Okay. I can explain.
Dude comes up here, says nor, says there's no R. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Okay. Explain the Vegemite though. This is of utmost importance.
So I'm just like I'm trying to remember because I remember watching this documentary about how Vegemite's made. Basically, we get all of our beer and we brew it, and then the shit that's left on the bottom, it's like this tarry waste, and we were like, damn, this stuff is going to waste. It costs a lot of money. What can we do to like make some money out of this? And that's literally what Vegemite is. It's just the waste at the bottom of the brewery, and it's got a percentage of alcohol in it.
So what you're telling me, there was some guy and he's like, "Oh, dude, look at all this sludge. Let's put that on some bread and see how that is." He's like, "It's not bad."
Yeah, like
what about the
for
fetuses,
real?
though?
That's how it happens. And then they just added a fuck ton of salt and made it a pretty decent condiment.
I just saw a sandwich one time that a guy was making. He was listening to that song.
Come from the land down under.
Yeah. And it was that part where it's like he's talking about making a Vegemite sandwich. This dude just slathered like a thick layer, like an inch thick layer of Vegemite on some bread, and then threw cheese on it and put it in an air fryer. And then he pulled it out, and it just looked like tar. It did not look good.
No, he's doing it wrong. He's misrepresenting Australians. You're meant to put you put a thin layer of butter on, depending on how many calories you want in, that's your butter. And then you put on a very thin layer of Vegemite. So it's basically like sprinkling on salt, pretty much.
If I wanted to do that though, I could just use salt.
You could.
I've tried Vegemite one time. My mom had Australian friends come visit, and I just got a little bit, and I just like put it on the tip of my finger, the tiniest dab, and I put it on my tongue. And it's like when you eat spicy food and like it touches your tongue and your whole tongue lights up. But instead, I touched my tongue and it was like immediately like fungus. It was like venom.
You can't do that.
Stuff. It was like that venom symbiote thing spread across my tongue, and I was like, ah.
It's the same thing if you like had a spoonful of olive oil, which I've actually done by the way, and it burns. Have you ever tried that?
Take shots of olive oil. It's so gross.
Yeah.
I've taken like a tiny sip of it before, but I've never
yucky.
Yeah. I took like a full tablespoon of it at one point because I need to get my calories in. Couldn't be bothered making anything.
Oh, is this guy going to break the Olympic record? I'm watching the marathon right now. This already happened, but he did break the Olympic record. That's cool. Good for him.
Did you see the speed climbing thing?
I didn't see it. I mean, I
that's
heard that girl
wild.
won by like 0.04 seconds or something like that. But
Dude, I was at work and I saw these dudes going up that wall. One guy got like 4.7 seconds or something crazy,
it's-
and I was like, dude, how did you
I
not
couldn't
fall?
run that fast. If it was like down on the ground and you just had to run across it, he'd still beat me in time.
I think if I was on the top and my job was just to fall to the bottom, I don't think I could do it that fast.
Yeah, gravity can't beat them. Like they're literally like gravity times 2.
Okay, so
It's
anyways,
actually ridiculous.
going back to the Vegemite thing. So that's a cute story, but I'm going to tell the history differently, okay? So like Spam, for example. Spam is really popular in Hawaii because it's something about like it was not like a war ration, but it was something like, you know, they rely heavily on imports and there were military bases there, and so Spam was like the only thing with a shelf life back then that they could send. Not the only thing, but and that's how it got spread around, and it's really popular over there. So Vegemite was just simply the only thing that the Australian public was allowed to eat during the rationing of the Great Emu War, because all of the good food, the shrimps and the sausages,
the fucking Emu War.
were going to the soldiers to try to fight in the Emu War, and the citizens the ranchers were left to eat nothing but Vegemite. And at first they hated it, but you'd be surprised what you can get used to.
Yeah, it's all true. I did my own research.
I did.
Yeah, kind of like when
But did you
what was that?
think
What was that
about
Greek?
it and read between the lines? Remember that chick, Glober, the flat Earth chick. What was her name? I can't remember.
Was that TikTok mom?
Jen. Yeah, Jen.
Oh, it
Bible
was
believing
Jen.
Jen.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And she
That's
had
how
all those
fucking
videos
young.
about Obama being the Antichrist and being like,
Yeah, you went into her live because you randomly found her, and when she made the response, you told me, you were like, dude, you need to look at her video.
she's so great. She turned out to be a flat earther. I was just trying to troll her on the Bible. That video. That's my most viewed video. I don't know what it's up to. It's up to like 6 or 7 million views or something at this point. But the other guy, ma'am, please read it. In Jesus'
Hey, look,
name.
all I gotta say is, you're welcome for the idea.
Oh man, yeah, that was.
Hold on,
I
hold
think
on.
I had seen you.
You
do it
guys have
before.
Marmite, don't you?
I think so.
I've never had it, but yeah, it exists. That's made out of either golden marmosets or marmots. I don't remember.
So it's not the same as Vegemite.
It's probably similar. I don't know.
Pretty sure it's the same thing, and they copied it off Australia because it actually is really good. You just need to do it right.
Marmite is a British savory food spread based on yeast extract.
Yeah, that's the same as Vegemite.
Okay, yeah. No,
Yummy,
that's
yummy.
yeah,
Give
that's
me
a
that
British
bottom
thing.
tar scoop.
The British, I don't
Yeah, British are weird.
I don't understand the British. How is it that you literally colonized and conquered the entire world? The entire world. So you had everything at your disposal, and yet you go home and the only thing you can think of is to put beans on toast and eat it. You had the entire
Not
world at
just
your
beans,
disposal.
They used,
literally everything.
What do they call it? Maize. They used corn.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. The whole fucking thing for trading but was basically controlled by trading of spices. And you guys said, "Nah, I'll pass on that. I'll take the salt and pepper. The pepper's a little spicy, so we can only use that sparingly."
Apparently they do eat a
Then
lot
they
of
made
curry.
the Silk Road on the internet, and that was a bit different.
Of course, they eat a lot of curry.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god, that is not ironic whatsoever. Actually,
I just hate that they try to lecture the rest of the world on etiquette and class and things like that and culture, and it's like you put beans on toast.
Have you seen that etiquette guy on TikTok?
Yeah,
like-
he's
his
one.
name
I
is
only
William.
follow a few accounts, and he's one of them. But it's so every single video, the top comment is, "But what's the most etiquetist way to rub one out under the table and stuff like that.
Oh
But
God.
I've
But
left a
every-
few of those.
but every
my
now and then-
God. He
What's-
actually replied
I
to it
forgot his
once.
name.
He had the funniest reply to it once.
The only time, well, somebody said, somebody left a comment like, when I get home drunk from the pub, how do I beat my wife, with my pinky out or not? And he just commented like, don't. Like that was his response to the best way to do it
that's
is
wild.
don't do it. But I always forget his name. William Hansen, yeah.
William,
But every now and then there's a comment that just says like William Hansen biting the curb 4K. And it's like
That's become way too apparent on TikTok. Like every video where there's a minor annoyance biting the curb 4K.
I don't know. I
by the
kind of like it when
Taliban.
people say it ironically, but
Do you guys know what's his name? The date right stuff guy. He's always like eating food. And
Yeah.
he's like,
yeah.
so you mean to tell me liberals can do this, but then the right does it, and everyone loses like that shit? There was a thing that was going on where people would reply to his videos and they're like, but did you know that Freddy Five Bear at Five Nights owns a pizzeria? And like they would go through the whole fucking random nonsense just replying to his videos. And then people started commenting, and his followers would get so fucking angry anytime you brought up like Five Nights at Freddy's in his comments, because that's all his comments were for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, I never knew what that meant, because I don't know what Five Nights at Freddy or Freddy.
You don't need to know. Okay.
Yeah,
all that
like-
you need to know is it made him mad, and it was fucking funny.
Because like he really was like in the Trump administration, and he got in trouble with gambling and stuff like that, and he got kicked out. So
Really?
yeah, and so I was like, wait, did he used to like play a character in a TV show named Freddy Five Bears, who went to Five Guys and ordered 5 fries? I was like, what does this mean? And I've never had any clue what any of it meant, and I still don't. But whatever.
It's just a game called Five Nights at Freddy's, right? And there's a whole bunch of lore and shit behind it. But basically, the guy would just reply and say the lore in the fucking stupidest way possible.
Oh, that bear thing? That's
That's
okay.
literally all it was.
Have
and
you
he would
never-
explain
have you
the
never
lore
played
back
it?
to me.
What?
Have I?
Have you ever played Five Nights at Freddy's?
I have, and I don't know. I got bored really, really quick. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I watched my brother play it. It's just like you check cameras and look at doors and stuff.
Yeah, I see like big YouTubers like Markiplier and stuff playing it, and they're going hardcore. They're sweating and like getting really into it. And then I play it, and I'm like, dude, how are they clicking that much? There's not enough to click on in this game to do that.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, sorry, Peterson, we're annoying you with our Freddy Five Nights at Five Bears talk.
I don't care. There's this. We were talking about spam. What's this stuff called? Masubi? Is that what it's called? I thought it was called something else.
Wasabi?
No, masubi. It's like comfort food. So I have a cousin. Her mom is her mom is Japanese. Her dad is my uncle on my mom's side. So like 100% Northern European, as white can be. So her life is like really interesting. And like they met when he was on tour in Vietnam or something like that. Her and her dad and her mom, my uncle and her mom. I don't know too
story.
much else about it, but it's just this really super interesting family dynamic there. So they introduced me to, and she lives in LA by Inglewood, and she introduced me to masubi, and it's a thin slice of Spam and then sushi rice. Well, you fry it in like teriyaki sauce, and then you roll it in with sushi rice and seaweed.
Oh, and then you dip it?
No, you don't have to dip it because it's got a lot of the like teriyaki. You could in like soy sauce with wasabi or whatever you want. And it's like, it's really, you can't eat a lot of it because it it's like some comfort foods are like this. It kind of starts to make you sick once you eat a lot of it because you're like, this is a lot of spam and a lot of teriyaki, fried teriyaki sauce or whatever. But I don't know. It's really good, but it's kind of weird, but it's good. It's not like if you had like a platter of like actual like Japanese dishes and you tried them all and then you tried that, you'd be like, yeah, that's by far the worst one. But it's interesting because you get cravings for it at the same time. So I was just going to ask you guys, what's like the terrible food that you get like weird cravings for that you secretly love?
Oh
shit.
I do. Well, I don't do it anymore. You know the Doritos Jacked? Remember those?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, there was one where it was like a ranch dipped like buffalo wing. I would get that.
Yeah.
And then I would crumble up a cosmic brownie in the bowl of chips. I would just eat those together. It was amazing.
That's a wild combination. When I was a
It was good.
When I was a kid, like when we were in like 5th grade, 6th grade, playing like it wasn't like you did sports with your school, but they weren't like technically like school events. Like organized sports starts in middle school. This is before that, I would get. So when you'd go to basketball things, it was always a tournament. Because it'd be on weekends, so you'd play like 3 games. Between games, this is the most athletic thing ever. Between games, I would get a Mountain Dew. I would drink a little bit of it to make room, and then I would pour into the Mountain Dew an entire bag of sour Skittles. And
brother.
It turned it. I mean, it looked like waste management water. It turned a very particular shade of brown.
Did it even flavor it?
Oh, it changed it into. I don't even know how to describe it.
That's just like pure sugar at that point. That's
I haven't had it.
Is like.
I haven't had it in 20 years. I should do it again just to see what it like. I'm gonna make you one of the favorite dishes from my childhood. But I would drink that between games, and then like the Skittles at the end, everything that's on them gets dissolved, so all that's left are like these white Skittle pill looking things that have absolutely no flavor whatsoever. But yeah, I would drink that in between games, and I don't know why.
Your insulin must have been going crazy.
Yeah, my God. Are you diabetic by chance? Combo.
I don't think I am, but every now and then when I pee, this is weird, but it gives the extremely strong odor, very specifically of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which means there's a lot of sugar in there. I'm not making that up. That's exactly what it smells like. But I've had my
Isn't
A1C
that ketosis or ketones.
Maybe, I don't know. I've had my A1C tested, and I'm not diabetic or pre-diabetic, so.
Hot.
I mean, you seem fit enough. You're always, from what I've heard at least, you seem active enough to take care of it.
Yeah.
You can be
all the
super
Mountain Dew
active and
Skittles you
still
want.
have diabetes though.
What?
You could be the most active person in the world, but if your diet's like pure sugar, you could probably still easily get diabetes.
Yeah, I don't think it's. Yeah, basically.
I'm built different. I personally would just say no to the diabetes. They'd be like, "You have this." I'd be like, "No, I don't." They'd be like, "Oh my God, your numbers are down simultaneously." All of them. They're all good.
Yeah, hypoglycemia. What a made-up term. I've never heard of that magic word.
Oh yeah, it's like people where they won't eat foods with chemicals they can't pronounce, and it's like, have you ever considered that maybe you just don't know how to read, and it's not the chemicals' fault?
Yeah, for real.
McDonald's made me
Do you guys have
overweight.
shapes?
No, you ate there 4 times a day for 20 years.
Would you say, Hugh?
Do you guys have shapes like the
Squares, triangles? Yeah, those exist here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know the bacon and cheese flavor?
Wait, I have no idea. I was being cheeky. I have no idea what you're talking about.
What?
Shapes?
Oh,
That's
no,
a food?
Shapes. They're like an actual biscuit, and they're literally in different.
Okay, when you say
shapes.
biscuit, do you mean cookie or do you mean
cracker? I don't know. What are your words?
I don't know.
What did you call me?
Yeah, are you talking
what
like
are your
Chips
words
Ahoy?
for?
Like
Okay.
a cookie, or are
No,
you
they're-
talking
they
like
are-
a cracker, saltines?
They're flavored crackers. It's like chicken and a biscuit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
dude,
Yeah,
chicken
so
and biscuit.
there's this
Yum.
flavor bacon
Do
and
y'all have
cheese.
geometry where you're from?
Nah, we don't do that liberal stuff around here. No
Do y'all
math.
have geometry where you're from?
Yeah, we don't get to triangles until high school in Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
once
three-
they
We
start
stick with
putting
the
Three
square.
three is a very big number for you people.
once they
Yeah,
started
for
putting
real.
letters in the math, I tuned it out.
Anyways, so no, we don't have shapes. We have I don't know, chicken and a biscuit is like the most popular
Oh,
flavored.
dude, that is ridiculous.
I think.
What,
I
did they
think
actually
Ritz
put
has
chicken in a
flavored
biscuit?
crackers.
What? You were both talking, sorry.
I think Ritz has flavored crackers, so maybe that's like an
Oh,
equivalent.
yeah.
Yeah, we have Ritz.
Is that an equivalent? Would you say?
No.
Okay, well then I guess I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
All right, so just imagine like a hexagonal cracker. It's quite thin, different flavors. Best flavor is pizza. It adds like a bit of pizza seasoning. You won't find an Australian that dislikes it. And then there's this flavor, bacon and cheese, and it's meant to be the savory one, and like the first one you have, it's absolutely revolting, but the aftertaste kind of gets you craving it more. And then you
That's-
just like
yeah.
you just keep
Oh.
yeah, you know what I mean?
They look like, literally, it looks like the same shit as combos almost. It's not like rolled like the same thing, but
Yeah,
on,
the
I'll just show
packaging
you.
reminds me of combos a little bit.
Okay, you
I
already
had I went to this tea place and they had it's very like Japanese themed and they had prawn crackers. Spicy prawn
Oh,
crackers.
that's so good. That's so good.
Well, not really. It reminded me of what you said because I opened the bag and it was like it reeked of cat food. It just smelled so bad.
Maybe you got
And then I tried the
that's
first
weird.
one and I was like, these are horrible. But it was like I can't stop eating them at the same time. They never started to taste good.
were they like the puffy ones that are kind of pink?
They were kind of spiraled shaped, in a weird way.
I think we make different ones, but they're still called prawn crackers, and they're like hella addictive.
I don't know. I don't think there's a way to make a palatable prawn cracker. I don't really think so.
Just like don't put prawns in it,
Yeah, I
and just say
I
you know.
guess. Oops, all shrimp tails. Pork rinds, chicharrones, those for me, those are really good when you first start eating them, and then they just start to taste gross the more you eat them. It's really weird. And then like it's like doing pull-ups. You can only the first one feels fine, but then you can only do like 10. But then if you take a short break, you can go right back and the first one's good again, and then you can only do a few. That's how pork rinds are for me. The first one tastes great. Second one tastes pretty good, but then after a few, you're like, oh God. But then if I like come back an hour later, I'm like, these taste good again all of a sudden. It's a magical property that they have.
with pork rind, or yeah, the pork rind specifically, it's, I don't know. For me, it's almost like after you eat a couple of them, it's like a waxy texture, and it's like I don't like that. But like you said, you come back later, and the only thing you taste is the seasoning on it, and then it's good again. I don't know, or like Hardee's. I don't know. Whenever I eat there,
Hardee's.
I'm just eating a grease burger. It's good for like the first 3 bites, and then eventually I'm like, what am I? Is this even food?
I can't afford Hardee's anymore. You know what?
Oh, do you guys
Well-
have Tim Tams?
No.
I do know what Tim Tams are. My mom's Australian friends brought them here. I didn't get to try them, but I know of them.
I mean, to be honest, we just hype them up. They're pretty much just chocolate. It's about as far as it goes.
I've never seen them.
There's nothing that
or I can,
special
like,
about
buy
them.
them. But that's the thing, right? When you eat chocolate here, like especially Hershey's, a lot of people really like Hershey's, but whenever I try it, I don't know. There's only certain candies I can do from like Mars in general because I feel like our chocolate just tastes funny.
I mean, they're all just
About
boring.
Mr. Beast Bar.
Yeah, Beast bars aren't that bad. But
Kind of bland,
it's
but I guess less ingredients.
it's funny because he talked about how the whole thing, and then I've heard some people on the news discuss this too. How on Breaking Points. That's the only news I listen to. But they talk about how, like, Mr. Beast, he can't get his candy bars like sold in Walmart and stuff like that, because it's not the case that you just get a contract with Walmart and they just buy your product and sell it. You have to actually buy the spot on the shelf where it goes. Like with Google, like when you search something on Google and there's the sponsored results at the top. So he like wasn't able to get in because like Hershey's and all these companies that make boring stuff, although Hershey's Cookies and Cream is goated, I will say that. They buy all the shelf space, and then they don't spend any money innovating and making new stuff because they don't have to. And it's funny because I started thinking about this years before. I was like, why does McDonald's and why does Coke advertise, and like Bud Light, why do they do that? Because there's literally no reason for them to. There's no possible way that McDonald's making ads gets them more revenue. There's no way, because everybody knows it. And that's not the point. The point is, if they don't do it, somebody else will, and people will buy the other thing. So they're basically just preventing anybody else from participating in the market, is what it is. And it's so weird
to be
and
honest,
creepy to think about.
That's probably right. But like, you know, when it's 2 a.m. and you're with your mate and you're drunk and you see an ad on TV for Hungry Jack's or McDonald's, and you just have to get Uber Eats.
I've never got Uber Eats because I can't afford Uber Eats. I don't know how anybody can.
Let me give you an example of the price. I
it
spent
is
$38 on 2 sandwiches and 2 drinks to get them delivered. $38.
I paid $20 for a foot long tonight.
Dude. And the thing is, I felt bad about it, but I'm still gonna spend the money, and I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Convenience, bro.
I'm trying to figure this out right now. Somebody told me they're in my server, so I'm gonna ask them. He ordered, I think it was 2 items from Chick-fil-A and had them door dashed, and it came out to like $70 something, I want to say.
Jesus.
Yeah, like I think he got like a wrap and a meal, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. And he actually showed the receipt, and I was like, how are you tipping 40%? It's because of the delivery fees.
Dash Pass is worth it, honestly.
I went on the Little Caesars website. Their pizzas used to be $5. Now they're like $8.99, I think, or whatever. But I went on their website to try to get it delivered because I was watching a game or something, so I didn't want to leave. It's just so insane. None of the fees go to the delivery driver at all. So they ask you to throw the tip on top of it. But for like and this is a few years ago, so it was like a $7 pizza, and it was going to cost like $18 to have it delivered, and the store was less than a mile away. But one of the things they put on there was a small order fee. So because I only ordered 1 pizza, they were charging me $2.
Yeah, I've seen that even here. And I think it's kind of silly too, because I do DoorDash, like I'm a dasher sometimes. And there's an option where you can just make $13 an hour and keep 100% of your tips. So, like, I don't know why. I don't know. Some people.
There's an option to get a flat rate, you mean?
Yeah. You can get $13 an hour and you keep 100% of the tips.
So
I think they limit the amount of time you can spend out there, though.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So, I mean, it's
13 an hour is pretty shit, isn't it?
What was that?
13 an hour is pretty bad.
I mean,
I guess it's US.
It's not bad in Nebraska. It's pretty decent.
Well, also just for downloading an app on your phone and just verifying that you're a real person, like, it's not bad.
Yeah.
There's anybody can be a DoorDash driver unless you have like felonies that are still on your record. And even then,
can you not do
violent,
DoorDash
they'll still let you.
felonies? Is that an actual requirement? Not to have committed
there's
murder in
certain,
your phone?
Yeah, there's certain felonies that you can't have. Like, I I don't know, even for like working in warehouses and stuff, if you have like any record of theft at all, if it's not off your record for 5 years, or it hasn't been 5 years since or not off your record, if it hasn't been 5 years since it happened, they just won't hire you.
So I
got arrested when I was 14 and got
for not being drunk
got a
enough.
formal caution. No, no.
There's
I
a
wasn't
minimum
at that
alcohol
stage yet.
level you have to maintain in Australia, just so everybody knows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
the
is
DUI test is you have to wrestle a kangaroo. They're like, get the kangaroo.
I
They
have
say
been
canine,
punched
but
by
it's
a kangaroo. When I was very little, we have a place called Kangaroo Island, just off South
Yeah,
Australia.
it's called Australia.
Yeah.
Kangaroo
No,
Island.
there's an
It's
actual
called
island called
Australia.
Kangaroo Island.
Oh, you're
And
talking about
if you think
Tasmania.
Australia has a lot of kangaroo islands. If you go to actually go to Kangaroo Island, I think it's like 100 kangaroos per square 100 meters. It's something ridiculous like that.
That's not
That's
even.
what blew my mind. I saw my friend from Australia live streaming it. And when I thought of kangaroos, I was like, oh yeah, maybe like 2 or 3 just hop around together. And then I see his live stream. There's just a field full of like 60 of them, and it's like, dude, what the hell? What is even?
Yeah, they're
chill out like
categorized
that?
as a pest. There's so many of them.
Dude, and they're just like hanging out, like a couple 100 feet away from some dude's house, just chilling. And it's like, dude, there's just a whole field of them outside of this guy's house. Like, if he goes outside, he's gonna get jumped.
Yeah, and 11-year-old
Literally
me
and
saw them
figuratively.
reproduce quite a few times.
Dude, they're like rabbits.
There's a spot on Kangaroo Island called American River.
Dude, holy shit, we're doing great. Every time I think that we're losing, turns out we're actually winning.
Turns out we're winning. Yeah. Anyways, Hugh, you haven't actually told your story like at all. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm
What
sorry.
was my story? Hold on.
You got arrested when you were
I got
14.
hit by a
yeah.
kangaroo.
I forgot
I
what it
completely
was.
forgot. Okay, so I was very young, and I'm friends with this like conservationist guy. He had a what do you call it? Like a wilderness conservation park where he keeps all these animals. And he has a couple kangaroos that they actually domesticated. And usually you can go up to them with a handful of feed, which is like sunflower seeds and stuff like that. But I went up to him, like 12-year-old me, putting my hands out like I'm offering communion to God. And this kangaroo just arcs up, like pushes its chest out, ready for a fight, and just pushes me to the ground. But yeah,
Wait, yeah, that's the story of you getting
epic
punched.
climax here.
But you said you got arrested. That was how it all actually.
Oh, the
started.
arrested one. Right. You want to hear that one?
Yeah. Before
Yeah,
you do,
So when I was 14,
before you do, just to get back to the other thing, $63 for a wrap and some nuggets. That's what it was.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. The story of your arrest.
okay, it's not like insane or anything, but I'll go for it. I was in year 8 at the time, 14. I went to my uncle's housewarming party. He lives in like this really dodgy suburb. And I was with my cousin and my brother. And there's this primary school. It was at like 11 p.m., so everyone was gone. And there's this primary school just 100 meters away next to this park. So we go in, and we were planning on playing a game called Spotlight, where it's basically like hide and seek. But if you get the light shone on you, you're out and you're caught. So we had a flashlight and we were wandering around a primary school. My cousin finds an open window in the gym, the school gym. He climbs inside of it, opens the front door of the gym, and lets us all in. So we're all just hanging out in the gym, and then we noticed like this alarm screen and see that the silent alarm's gone off. So like security's been alerted that someone's inside. And in an effort to evade the police that were coming, my cousin opened up the switchboard, where all the switches to everything is, the lights and all the power stuff. And he literally just, he washed his hand down and turned everything off, hoping that turns the alarm system off. And so we closed that. go around, and we're still playing Spotlight in the school grounds with a flashlight. And these two protective security guys come walking around. I see them first, and my brother and my cousin just like flashing lights around the school premises. Like it looks as suspicious as it could possibly be. And he's like, "All right, boys, have a seat over there." So yeah, we have a seat over there. They call the cops. Cops come, accuse us of serious criminal trespass. Yeah, get put in a police car, and then my mum actually, because she was at the party that we were meant to be at, she comes out and she's screaming at me. And the only reason why I didn't get like a court date or anything for serious criminal trespass is because the police thought my mum would give me sufficient punishment.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So I've got a formal caution on my criminal record now. I'm not sure if it can be seen on a background check or not, but
I mean, if you were 14, well, I don't know. This is in America, but that normally gets just expunged once you turn 18.
yeah,
Yes,
I don't even
much
know
true.
how it works. But I had to sign a form, and the cop that came to me told me that he got a formal caution when he was younger as well, and he became a cop, so
Oh, nice.
probably OG.
How did it feel getting
Yeah.
charged for playing what is essentially hide and seek?
Dude, it was fucking terrifying, and it was my cousin's birthday as well.
Oh, happy
Like
birthday to
when it
him.
was happening.
You gotta love that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
When I was in kindergarten, I think, maybe first grade. I don't remember exactly, but there was a payphone. I lived in this town called Brant, South Dakota, and I only lived there for a couple years. But this town has one paved road. All the other roads are gravel roads. There's no fire department. There's no police. There's like 60, 80 people that live there, maybe. I mean, it's just absolutely tiny, right? But it was so I spent some of my youngest years there, and like going around exploring all this stuff in this dumb little town where there's literally nothing was still magical as a kid for whatever reason. But there was a payphone, and you can call 911 on a payphone without putting a quarter in it, right? So my friend Corey Anderson, and friend is in quotation marks, he was my neighbor, and we got in fights all the time, but he was also like the only boy my age that lived in the whole town. So he said, and he was a little shit, he probably still is, but he's like, let's prank call 911. So we did like 10 times or something like that, and we had to go to the courthouse after this because they found out who did it and all this other stuff. So we had to go. The school was right across the street from the courthouse, so our moms picked us up from school. Corey Anderson watching this right now. Our moms picked us up from school, and then we went over next door to the courthouse, and it was basically like we weren't in trouble. The cops, the sheriff or whatever, they were just treating it like you can never do this kind of thing ever again, and it's actually extremely serious, and here's why, blah, blah, blah. But they played the recordings back to us, and the whole time I was just, my head was down, and I was absolutely mortified and ashamed. And fucking Corey Anderson the whole time was laughing. He just giggled uncontrollably the whole time. Every time they played one of the calls, he just... And I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? We're arrested right now, and you're laughing. And that's exact. He was like that, like literally the whole time we were going to school, just always getting in trouble and just completely incapable of understanding and taking responsibility for things. So, yeah.
When
Did
I
you get
was,
in any trouble?
I don't think so. I don't. Maybe
Probably
our parents
just like
got
a
a
scare
fine. I have
tactic.
no idea. I kind of doubt it, but I mean, we didn't. I don't think I mean, maybe I got grounded or something. I'm trying to think. I don't think I ever got grounded ever once in my life. My parents never told me that I was grounded, at least. One time, I mean, I almost died in a car accident once, and that really pissed my dad off, and so he didn't allow me to leave the house for like a week.
Fair enough.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I fell asleep at the wheel at like 1:30 in the morning, and there are these things called an approach. So like basically there's the road, the highway, and then the ditch goes way down, and then there's the field. So like the field is about level with the road, but the ditch goes down. I hit an approach, which is just a earthen mound that connects the highway to the field. I hit the edge of it, and Dukes have hazarded my car. And I woke up when the car hit the ground, and I hit a reflector pole while I was asleep. I hit a reflector pole, and those are designed to break on the bottom. And you can actually see it stamped itself onto the roof of, or the hood of the car. You could see it like really clearly, and it did that right in front of me, like the driver's side. And the cop was like, I've seen this happen before, and pretty much every time that reflector goes through the windshield. So I have no idea why it just bounced off the car in your case, but that would have been the death of me at 16. And my dad was so pissed off that I didn't wreck the car. I think it did need a new engine, and like a new hood, obviously, but that was about it. But he was so pissed, and oh my God, that was the worst car ride ever, because he picked me up the next day and just screamed at me the entire time. And I was
My.
yeah, this is really great. It could have died. Pretty emotional.
I hate
right
those
now.
car rides.
My dad's
where you've
just
done
telling me
something
how
wrong.
much he wishes I would have died. No, he didn't say that, but, but
When I was like,
God saved you. Yes,
when I was
thank
like,
you, Spanky.
probably like 7 years old, I remember my sister was babysitting me, and technically she wasn't supposed to. She wasn't old enough to do it by law. Like, I think you had to be over 13 to be able to be left home alone, basically watching over somebody else. And I remember I took the phone. I don't know why, what it possessed me to do this, but I took the phone and I locked myself in the bathroom, and I called 911. And when they picked up, I was like, hey, I'm just calling to see if you guys are okay.
You're checking. Nobody ever
I
calls
called
911 to
RDMA
see if
type
they're doing
experience.
okay.
I was checking on the police, I guess, and they were like, who is this? How old are you? And I was like, I'm 7, and I just want to know if the cops are okay. I'm really worried about them. My sister just banging on the door like, Tyler, hang up the phone, stop. So eventually I hang up the phone and I give it back, and my sister's just pacing, freaking out, because she knows if you dial 911, the cops normally still show up, just in case. So the cops show up, and she tried to lie about her age. And they were like, what year were you born? And she was like, and she couldn't think of the year that would have been right for
Yeah,
the
she can do
age.
the math. Yeah.
Yeah, so the cops just instantly saw through it. So she just broke down and was like, I'm only 12 years old. I can't be doing this.
I can't be doing this anymore. I'm
All
only 12.
because I had to see if the cops were okay.
That's fine. You'd think they would appreciate that.
I think they did. I think they were like, well, thank you for asking. Yes, we're okay, but you can't call 911 and do that. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just trying to do a nice thing, and you guys are coming here telling me I'm wrong.
I don't know if you've ever seen that video of that woman who she's being chased by somebody in her car, and so she dials 911, and she's like trying to evade them. It's like she pulls off the highway onto a side road, but then they follow her, so she turns around and like blah blah blah. And the whole time she's talking to 911, they're like, I need you to tell me where you are. And she's like, bitch, I'm fucking trying to get away from this person. I don't know where I am. I'm on this highway, but I don't know. I'm running around in circles. And the 911 operator the whole time is just like, I understand. I just need to know where you are. And I'm like, I had this experience once too. It was actually last year. It's kind of hard to explain. You'd have to see it, but like, I was leaving work, and there's like this really weird intersection where to get on the ramp, to get on the highway, there's like the road, but then there's another road that cuts through it. It's really weird. So that that road has a stop sign, and I'm driving to get onto the highway, and they're coming up to that intersection, and it's like, it happens like half the time, but there's a stop sign there, right? So like, duh. But they don't stop. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So I slam on the brakes and I swerve and barely avoid them. And then they just like tried to drive off. I don't know, like I was like, I'm not letting this go. So like I turned around and like kind of parked near them. And I didn't have a plan. I was just like very pissed off and annoyed. But she came by and just very flippantly was like, oh yeah, nothing happened, so we're good. And then she like walked away. I was like, fuck you. So I got out and I took a picture of her car and got back in my car, and she was wearing flip-flops, and all of a sudden I hear, she sprinted over to my car and opened the car door. She's like, delete that fucking picture right now. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I keep shutting my door, and she keeps opening it, and I keep shutting it, but my window's also rolled down, so that doesn't really help. I finally get the car door shut and I lock the door. And I take out my phone, not to like record her, although I wish I would have, because this would have done numbers on TikTok. But I just dial 911, and as soon as she sees that, she grabs my phone. I was like, fuck no, bitch. And I just ripped it out of her hand, and then I finally got the window rolled up. And this is going on. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm talking to him. I was like, this lady almost hit me with her car, and then she started attacking me. And they're just like, I need to know, like, what road are you on? I was like, I'm next to this. It's not a big town. I'm like, I'm next to the 76 gas station on the access road to the freeway. Like, yeah, but where are you? I was like, there's only one fucking gas station in this whole town. That's not true, but I was like, it's the 76. How are you not tracking my cell phone right now? Like, what?
It's like, you understand,
don't you have that ability?
It's in my pocket.
Yeah, like they show up at your house even if you don't tell them. So like I don't know how it works from the 911 operator's perspective. But I was like, I'm calling you, which means this has to be local. And if I say the 76 next to in this town, like, how do you not know that? I just remember thinking that the whole time. It was so funny. They got in there before they drove away. They covered their license plate with paper towels, because I tried to take a picture of them as they drove away, because I took a picture of the front and they didn't have a license plate.
Isn't that a felony?
Yes.
I don't, to cover it up is, yeah. And they never figured out who it was. And I don't really care all that much, but it was just, it was insane.
It's like those videos you see on TikTok all the time, where it's like just the audio between the dispatcher and the person calling, and they keep asking questions where it's like, this isn't going to help the situation at all. It's like, can you just send the police? They're like, oh, we
a lot
already
of the
sent them
time,
right
so
away.
they've already sent them, and they just need like.
Yeah, but they ask questions like, okay,
Qualifying.
they're already sent. Where are you? It's like, well, motherfucker, they're already on the way, so I don't see how that's helpful to you.
Yeah,
So
I don't know how it works.
just to get to know me. They're like, oh yeah, I just wanted a friend. That's all.
I'm sure it's stuff like that. I'm sure it's like, it doesn't make any sense to the typical person, but like they've found out after tracking millions of calls that you have to know blank, 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 or else blank could happen. So
Yeah, like I'm sure there's the same reason that there's like, do not drink the contents of this battery. Like they put those stickers there. It's just to cover all the loose ends. That's it.
Do you guys know what a green whistle is?
No.
Or have you ever been in an ambulance?
No.
once.
I can't afford that. Hell no. I'll drive myself. I don't care if I'm having.
Dude, it's in Australia. It's literally $1,000 for an ambulance ride to the hospital. It's so wild.
What are you
So I
taking?
just
You
like-
taking coach ambulance?
Yeah, I'll take economy, please. I dislocated my my shoulder once, and at the beach, and the lifeguards had to call the ambos, and they gave me this green whistle, and it's like, I don't know what's in it, but it gets you so cooked. It's like the trippiest high I've ever had, and it got rid of the pain entirely. Like
Oh,
I
weird.
dislocate my shoulder again just for the green whistle.
Oh,
10 out of
I actually
10.
do know what you're talking about. I've seen them do that. There's some show where it's like lifeguards and them taking care of people who like stepped on.
Yeah, like Bondi Rescue.
Yeah, I think that actually is exactly what it is. And
Yeah.
they'll give them that pen with that.
That's what it's called.
Yeah,
Penthrox.
methoxyfluorine. That's what it is.
They gave it to some kid. He got like stung by a jellyfish or something, and the kid went from like screaming, crying to just staring at the ceiling with the like
Yeah.
his soul
Yeah,
left his body.
dude was on cloud nine.
You can't get it in
He
the
was
United
baked.
States, apparently, or at least that's
Aw,
what this.
dude,
That's what this
fucking-
random website is telling me. The only time I ever took an ambulance was I was having a kidney stone, and I was home by myself, and it was like 2, 3 in the morning. So I was like, I think I had driven myself to the hospital before when I had one, but this time I was like, I fucking can't. And they gave me, it was called Toradol or something like that. It's a painkiller when I was in the ambulance.
Like an anti-inflammatory.
It was
Very strong.
that's what Toradol is.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like
It took
it's
the
like
pain away.
ibuprofen if it was heroin, you know? It's like
Huh,
Panadol to heroin as ibuprofen is to Toradol.
Well, okay. Anyways, it was a really weird experience because I was writhing in pain. Kidney stones are fucking horrible. And
Yeah.
the weird thing was when they gave it to me, it didn't not hurt anymore. I just didn't care. And I've had these like weird, this would be, I don't know how you could ever figure this out, because this is like famously the hardest question in philosophy is, what is it like to be a bat? And I read a really cool book by an Australian. What?
toughest question that I can think of. What is it like to be a bat?
No,
It's like,
I'm,
I don't know. I think I
I'm
can
not.
think of
I'm
a
not
harder
kidding.
one.
That's actually how it's. There was a famous paper that was written a long time ago about like
What
what's it
the
like to be a
hell?
bat. I'm not.
Sorry for interrupting.
I'm not making
that
that
just
up.
caught me off guard.
It is pretty weird, but I'm not making that up. Peter Godfrey Smith, which I read 3 of his books. Can't remember. I think it's Other Minds. Yeah. So he talks about like octopuses and like the development of the mind and brains and things like that. But he talks about pain in the animal kingdom, and they have all these studies to try to figure out which animals can actually go. Senescence is like the ability to feel pain, and they talk about like how scientific studies that have been done on like to like try to test which animals can actually feel it. But I've always just thought like if there was no emotional component with pain, because like we don't like being in pain, you know, would it just not be bad anymore? And it's weird. And so I've wondered, like, is that what it's like for animals? Like they can feel pain exactly like we can, but they just don't care.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
That's
Or
weird.
just
You're
imagine
not
any
taking into
negative
account
stimuli
masochist.
that isn't pain.
Yeah, because there's
Like
plenty of them.
yeah, it'd
Like-
be something like that. And I know if you take a drug like ketamine, which is dissociative, so you still have pain, but your brain just doesn't acknowledge it. So it'd be kind of like that. I'm not saying to do ketamine, by the way.